We are halfway through 2024 and there have been so many two-wheeler launches already. But the real show starts now. Some of the very big names, some new names will make their debut this month, that is July. And which ones exactly? Well, that is what we'll tell you in today's video. But before we do, don't forget to do 3 things. Like, share and subscribe to BikeWale. The first one on the list and one of the very important products for the Indian two-wheeler market, the Indian commuter segment, is the Bajaj CNG bike. Now we know that it will be launched on 5th of July, that is just a few days from now. And it will be the first ever mass-produced CNG motorcycle and it will be launched right here in India. Now we've already seen the spy shots and the blueprints of it. And from the spy shots what we've learned is there might be not one but 2 different variants, because one was equipped with a rather nice and sober looking setup, a decent setup, say a regular handlebar, a regular fuel tank and a simple seat. And the second variant will have a front and rear drum brake setup, which will be the affordable bike. Now essentially this is an experiment for Bajaj given its long history with CNG 3-wheelers in India, and that is what it plans to replicate in the 2-wheeler segment as well. And we expect Bajaj to launch its CNG bike, which may be called a bruiser, but we think that could not be the case, in a very phased manner across India. So first it might be launched in Pune, followed by other tier 1 cities where there is ample of CNG pumps for people to refuel. And we have made a separate video on the CNG bike, so you can click here to watch that. Next up, we have Royal Enfield's new 450cc bike, which might be called the Sherpa or maybe not. Now this is essentially a toned down version of the existing Himalayan 450, and we've already seen a bunch of spy shots of this bike too. But it will get the same 452cc Sherpa engine, which means the power output could also be the same. Now we have seen a few spy shots where the instrument console on the Guerrilla 450 looks slightly different than what we see on the Himalayan. So maybe to keep the cost in check, Royal Enfield might use a different dial, a slightly low cost setup than the Himalayan 450 on the Guerrilla. However, we expect Royal Enfield to give smartphone connectivity as an option maybe to the Guerrilla 450 as well. And then its hardware, which you already know, gets USD front forks and a monoshock at the rear with a front disc and a rear disc setup with ABS. And then we also touched upon the stance difference between the two bikes. So the Himalayan is more of a tall, proper ADV bike where you sit upright, but we think on the Guerrilla you'd sit rather slightly committed. But how would that translate in the real world? Well, the wait is not too long because we'll tell you all about it very soon, because we are headed to Spain to ride the Guerrilla 450 very soon, and that is in the mid of this month. BMW India is also taking its bet on the electric two-wheeler market because it plans to launch the C04 here very soon. And it has already been on sale in the international market, so we already know what the scooter looks like, what its specs are, what its features are, and we also have a fair idea of what its asking price could be. So let's start with the design part first. The CE04 looks futuristic and has these rather big boxy panels. It may look very striking to some people and might also get polar opinions on the design front once people get to see it in flesh. So the CE04 gets a big 15 kilowatt motor and an 8.9 kilowatt hour battery. This gives it a top speed of 120 kmph and a maximum range of 130 kilometers. However, the CE04 is not a lightweight scooter and it tips the scale at 231 kilograms. And then we also know what features it gets. It gets all LED illumination, a TFT, ride modes, tire pressure monitoring system, smartphone connectivity and a lot more. Now, like we mentioned, it may not come cheap at all, and as per the USA pricing, we think it would cost at least 10 lakh rupees ex-showroom in India or more than that. And last but not the least, even the Triumph Daytona 660 will make its debut this month. However, by now we've been waiting for this bike for months, while its international debut happened almost earlier this year. But we think Triumph will finally bring it here, and what we already know is that the bikes have started hitting the dealerships and it could be launched sometime around the end of July. Now we also know that the Daytona 660 is probably the most powerful 660 bike in Triumph's lineup. It makes 95 bhp and 69 Newton meters of torque, which is significantly more than the Trident and the Tiger Sport 660. And it also comes loaded with a lot of features including traction control, a TFT with smartphone connectivity, 3 ride modes and ABS as well. In the international market, Triumph offers the Daytona 660 in 3 color options, and that is exactly what we expect for the Indian market too. And you can expect the bike to cost around 10 lakh rupees ex-showroom with all the bells and the whistles. Now there could also be some surprise entries for this month, so stay tuned to BikeWale for all those as well.